Hello, I'm Piaget Jenkins. In today's video, we will take a look at building blocks and their functionality within RES Workspace Manager 2011. Building blocks allow you to transport configuration settings from one Workspace Manager environment to another in a very easy way. A building block is basically an XML file that contains all properties of a certain setting or feature. It can be used as a change management or change configuration solution, but also as a backup solution in a sense of disaster recovery. And this is because building blocks allow you to recreate the exact configuration settings of your Workspace Manager environment. Now, the first thing we want to do is learn how to create building blocks. So, for example, let's browse to our Managed Applications and say we want to create a building block of Adobe Reader X. All we have to do is open the item here. If you see in the bottom left-hand corner, you're going to see three boxes. One of those is for the create building block action, and it's this left one right here. What we have to do is click on that, and then we choose a directory in which we want to place our building block. So I'm going to place it on the desktop here, and click Save, and there we go. The building block was created. Now, second way to create building blocks is say if you want to create building blocks of all your applications here, all we have to do is come over here and then select Start, right click here, building blocks, and then create. Once again, all we need to do is choose a directory. Let's go ahead and make a new folder. Title it BBs. Click OK. And happen to have one there already, and all we have to do is create all the building blocks there. And now if we actually go here, we can see that all the building blocks have been created of all our managed applications. Now, the last way to create building blocks is if we want to come up here and we want to select building blocks for our entire environment, for example. So all we would do is go to Action and then select Items for building blocks right here. And that gives us a very similar selection pane just as we did in Instant Reports. So we can kind of go through and pick and choose what we want to create building blocks of. So for our example, let's go ahead and keep context, let's remove composition, keep security, remove diagnostics, and we'll remove setup. Now once we have an item selected for the building block creation, all we need to do is come back here to Action again and then create building blocks of selected items. Now we can create it into a single file or multiple files. And basically, if you're doing this for backup, I kind of recommend doing it in multiple files. That way you can kind of pick and choose which building blocks you want to import when and where, as opposed to making one single file and importing everything at once in bulk as a single configuration item. So let's go ahead and choose multiple files, and we click OK. Once again, we choose our folder, and it's going to create the building blocks of everything there. Alright, so now that we've learned how to create building blocks, let's take a look at how we would actually import those building blocks back into our Workspace Manager environment. So since we're already in our Managed Applications here, let's go ahead and take a look at Adobe Reader 10 once again. Say we were to accidentally delete this application. Application's gone, but we accidentally deleted it, so we want that application back. Well, it's simple as this. All we need to do is right click, select building blocks, and then add create applications. And then we just browse to where we placed that Adobe building block and click Open. And there we go. Adobe is back as if it never disappeared. Now another way of importing building blocks is if you actually have several building blocks which you want to import in bulk to different parts of your Workspace Manager environment or a specific node. So for example, if I browse down here to my user registry, I have a couple of building blocks which I created and I want to place them back here. So it's the same process. All we do is right click again and then import building block. Then once again we're going to navigate to where I have those building blocks stored. User registry. Let's go ahead and open that, and we can see that I have multiple ones here. So once those are all checked, I can go ahead and click Start Import, and then this window is going to pop up here. Now the first thing you're going to see is import Workspace Manager objects with the original GUIDs or the new GUIDs. And by the way, GUID stands for Global Unique Identifier. So if you import it with the original, that means it's going to overwrite anything that's existing already in that node specifically. If you import it with new GUIDs, that means it's going to create new objects. So if you're coming onto a blank slate and it's something you already backed up in the past, then original's fine. If you already have some configuration items already placed in this node specifically, I would recommend going with new GUIDs. And then if you jump down here, you can also place it into a specific workspace, and that is any of your workspace containers which you already have configured. Now keep in mind, workspace container is a set or a group of agents. So we're not going to import it into a specific workspace. And right down here we have action settings for security management and directory services. If you have anything configured in that sense for building blocks, you can either merge with the existing settings or overwrite the existing settings. So essentially that is to say, if you have 10 items already existing there and you click merge with these building blocks and you have one here, then it's going to be 11. So if you click overwrite, that means those 10 are going to go away and you're going to be stuck with one. So let's go ahead and merge, and we're going to click OK. And the building blocks were successfully imported, and now we have all our user registry items as well. Alright, well that about does it. Thanks again for viewing. This has been Building Blocks for RES Workspace Manager 2011.